So I just wanted to talk about the new Irish Census form that has been doing the rounds, and specifically the topic about religion. In the past, when we had the Irish Census the last time, it would have said, what religion you would have had, and would have said Roman Catholic, Church of Ireland, Islam, Presbyterian, Orthodox, other, write your religion. In this form for the census that's going to happen on the 3rd of April, what they've done is they've put no religion as the number one option in Ireland. And everybody knows when it comes to voting or when it comes to being asked a question, how you frame the question and how you present something to them, impacts people how they vote. Which is why, for example, in the last referendum, being able to say yes to some, being able to be behind the yes vote or the no vote, it's all psychological. It's all framed to drive a result that people want. So for the first time in Irish history on an Irish census, no religion now is the number one option. So if you're just going to be the person that ticks the first thing that comes there, so be it. I have absolutely no problems with this personally at all. I think if you're not intelligent enough to know which religion you actually are and you're actually able to vote to select, then really what type of Catholic are you? It could be number 99 on the list and I would still tick the box. It makes no difference to me. Because at the end of the day, we might say we're a Catholic country, you might say we're overwhelmingly Catholic, but it doesn't reflect down in vocations, it doesn't reflect down in funds in the church, it doesn't reflect down in attendance at Mass, it doesn't reflect down on people's knowledge of the faith, because we do not teach the Catholic faith in Ireland anymore in our Catholic schools. It's fig leaf. It's just a gloss over. We do not believe in the ordinary means of salvation in the Catholic Church in Ireland anymore, because at every funeral everybody goes to heaven. Unless you were the son of Hitler, everybody's going to heaven. That's how we practice the faith in Ireland. People do not go to confession anymore. We do not know what mortal sin is. We do not practice. We do not teach that ordinary means of salvation that the Catholic Church has always taught. So, to see this, I'm not surprised, really, this push to make the no religion one of the biggest factors in Ireland. And why is this? This is to take schools off the Catholic Church that are that the church owns at the moment or patrons of. And it really is to really stamp out the last vestiges of the Catholic faith in Ireland. Because in the next 30 years, half of our parishes will close. About 800 chapels or churches in Ireland will close because we do not have the funds or the attendance to support them. And that's simply it. We have about 2,400 churches, chapels in Ireland at the moment, and we do not have the funds or the attendance to support those locations. That's the simple reality. Is the Catholic faith means very, very little to many people in Ireland who call themselves Catholic. We'll go to a baptism, a confirmation, or a funeral, but we won't go to weekly Mass. We don't understand the faith. We don't understand the Eucharist. That's where we are in Ireland at the moment. I found it very surprising in the last couple of weeks. There's this priest that got very vocal about the Russians and went up and had paint strewn across the Russian embassy, and I believe some ecclesiastical driver he went and the truck was backed into the gates of the embassy. Okay. And where were our clergy and our priests back in 2018 during the abortion referendum vote? A vote that led to 6,666 abortions. In 2019, that's 3 times as many abortions as we would have had pre the repeal of the 8th Amendment. Where were our clergy? Where are those who are supposed to know and love and live the faith, teaching us the faith in Ireland? They're not there. They were not there. Our Catholic Association of Catholic Priests in Ireland said they couldn't be dogmatic on abortion. So it's great. It's interesting to see how, you know, there are certain groups able to get their point across to the government and able to change a census. Because this is a very important thing to note when you're comparing census. In yeah, adding questions and changing questions, how it's very hard then to compare data from one census to another, because the data is being presented as being different. If you really wanted to see a proper census, you'd be able to compare from one to another. So it's very important to see. It's interesting to see how this data is managed, and so forth. So that's where Catholic Ireland is going, and the nones, the no religion, the atheists, those that want the faith destroyed are able to push forward and push their agenda. Let's drive down those who identify as Catholic. So that we can further destroy the faith in Ireland, further push the faith back, so that it's not taught in schools in any shape or form. I personally think the faith shouldn't be taught in any school in Ireland whatsoever, unless you're actually a Catholic school. Or what do I mean by Catholic school? A school that actually teaches and lives the faith, that has prayer, that offers Mass and the sacraments, that teaches children the ordinary means of salvation, that understands what grace is. Basic Catholic teaching, which we don't seem to do in Ireland anymore. And unless people know the faith, there will never be a recovery of the faith in Ireland. You have to teach something to children so that they know what it is, and they're able to come back to it at some stage in their life. And this is the sad reality where we are in Ireland, that we seem to be sitting back and letting the faith die. I remember a few years ago trying to, when you're trying to do certain projects in Ireland, for example, have perpetual adoration in Knock, which is a Eucharistic shrine and stuff like that, and you're trying to explain this to those that can make this happen, they don't want to listen. There was another project that would have been one of the greatest Catholic projects ever to have been seen in Ireland, and there wasn't that much push from Irish hierarchy to support this. It does feel it is very disheartening and very sad for those of us who love the faith to see it being treated, without the love it deserves in Ireland. Without the reverence and so forth. We were more interested in implementing the COVID religion than the Catholic religion in the last 2 years. No communion on the hand, and all this plastic stuff and this wiping stuff and so forth. It's a bit strange. It's very bizarre. I don't know where we're going in the Church in Ireland. But anyway, that's the update on the census in Ireland. It's pushing no religion as the number one option, and so be it. If you don't know what religion you have, then maybe you belong in no religion. If you don't believe in the Catholic faith, then put in no religion. Why bother ticking a box for something that you actually don't believe in? At least we know then who is actually Catholic and who isn't. Anyway, just an update from Poland. My wife is over in the refugee camps in Poland, and with trucks that have left Ireland, 3 trucks from Ballina, and they're great support here in Mayo. We've had immense support, and at the moment in Ukraine, my wife's family comes from Ukraine, Poland. At the moment in Ukraine, they're trying to evacuate all the kids as much as possible from the Ukraine, get them out of the war. They're able to fight a war without kids in the midst of that. You're able to, because the Russians are trying to take over certain areas. If there's no kids involved, then the Ukrainians can go after them. And this is a war the Ukrainians have been preparing for the last 10 years. They're very prepared. They're not going to let Russia win. They've had the famine. They've had invasions from Russia before, and they're going to take on the Russians again. So let's see where it goes. And, I would pray for them. I will do a podcast on this conflict, my views on it, but it'll be a few days' time. So, yeah, please pray for what's going on in Ukraine. It's very, very tragic. And pray for the faith. Please pray for the faith. Fight for it. If you believe in the faith, then we should be trying to, restore it, love it, understand it, teach it. We have to teach the faith in Ireland. It's very, very important. If we do not teach it, people will not know the faith. What we have today, this post-Vatican II Novus Ordo way of teaching the faith in Ireland is not helping anything. It's not informing anyone. It's actually destroying the faith, because we're passing on to our kids something that does not stand the test of time. It's just a fairy tale view of Catholicism that everybody's going to heaven. Then why bother praying? Why bother going to the Eucharist? Why encounter Christ? We seem to be pushing Christ back further and further in the church, and then we wonder why nobody goes to Mass or talks to him or believes in him. Anyway, just an interesting blog, on tick no religion in the census of 3rd of April. Well, if you don't believe, yes, tick no religion. But if you are Catholic, please tick Roman Catholic or whatever faith you have. And stand up for the faith if you believe in it. Anyway, God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.